Good morning, Steve Cohen from New York. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Peter?
And welcome everybody to the Core Truth. It's great to have you all here, and it's great to have Steve Cohen as my guest. Gosh, Stephen, you're like such an icon, Manhattan broker, man. I mean, it's truly like the epicenter of real estate, in my opinion. I mean, seriously. I mean, LA, Beverly Hills, I get it, but Manhattan, New York, dude, you're the man. How are you today?
I'm doing well. I'm good. I'm good. And
That's
you're
that's
right. Yes, New York City, when you think New York, you think of a lot of things, but you definitely think real estate.
Yeah. So, yeah, welcome everybody to the Core Truth. And we had a lot of fun trying to do a live Instagram and get this thing going, and we got it done. And it's just, it's all a learning curve, but we're working on it, and it's great. Anyway, God, we got so much to talk about, Steve. I mean, the real estate market. We can talk about, how you broke into the business. What's going on, how you're winning listings, how you became such a mega broker in New York. I mean, maybe let's just start off a little bit about you. What's your story, man? Like, tell us about you and why real estate and why New York and who are you, man?
Okay. All right. So I would say for my generation, I am one of the few people that actually at 16 thought, oh, I should be a real estate broker. Of course, I didn't get into it right away, but I I always loved architecture and studied a little bit of architecture. And I always loved homes, which came from my father. We grew up outside of Philadelphia in some of the most beautiful suburbs, and my father instilled this great passion and love of homes. And so, after college, I went to Penn State. I did a few different things, and it was great. And then I ended up living overseas. And I remember I was in Sydney, Australia, and I went for a run one day in the park. And I was thinking, what am I going to end up doing like as my true career? I was in my 20s, I had some success, but like what ultimately was I going to do? And I thought, well, if I don't figure it out, if it doesn't come to me, I can always be a high end real estate broker. I think I could do well at that and I'd enjoy it. So I don't want to say it was my fallback. It was actually what I wanted to do, but
Hmm.
kind of in my head thought I had to go pursue something else. And so I moved back to New York and then had a job with a developer, a very well-known high-end developer, and then parlayed and moved into real estate. And two things, there are a few things to say. First, I save like articles and letters from, over the lifetime. And I have an article about a broker actually, was it Steven Snyder? He was in Beverly Hills. Was there a Steven Snyder years ago? Anyway, I should find the article, but and I still have the post-it note attached to it from one of my best friend's moms. And it
Hmm.
said, always thinking of you, love Mrs. C. Because she said when I was 14, 13, whatever it was, oh, you should do this for a living. And
Hmm.
it was about a guy who was selling Beverly Hills real estate.
Uh,
Yeah, so that was that. And then the other thing, and then when I moved to New York, my friend Michelle, there was an article in the New York Times that did a whole spread, like a two-page spread on the life, the day in the life of a real estate broker. And
hmm.
she said to me, now I'm in my 20s, you should do this. And so I felt like the signs just kept coming to me. And so that's what I decided to do, thank God. And now it's 25 years later. And the reason I started by saying generation is because over the years, we all get calls from people saying, oh, I'm thinking about getting into real estate. And we meet with them and friends, clients. Now, more and more, all the calls are from kids in college saying, oh, this is what I want to pursue as a career.
It's true.
Us coming up, it was always a second or third, for the most part,
Yeah.
career
Last
choice.
thing I wanted to do. I mean, I absolutely did not want to go into real estate. I told
Right.
my dad and my brother that they were both in it. They were like dragging me into the business. I'm going, no, never. But
Right.
let me ask you this, Steve. Like, for somebody thinking about going into real estate, like, I think everybody looks at it as so glamorous, and we're driving around in great cars and showing beautiful properties and meeting really interesting people, and there is that once you're there. But what do
Yeah.
people need to be prepared for? What do they need to really think about before they enter this business? Because we were even comparing it to acting earlier, like, our
Yeah.
daughters both being in
That's
that
right.
world of wanting to
Yes.
become actors. You know,
Right.
how should people think about this? And everybody thinks it's glamorous, but what is it really like entering this business? How would you describe that entry?
So it's interesting. Let's use the acting, actors, or they think, oh, it's so glamorous. And most actors going to a premiere, or, the glamorous things that the public is seeing them at, that's like, that's not showing them getting up at 4 in the morning, or which I get up super early, but I'm not going to a set. I'm getting up early to work out and do my morning routine and get prepared for my day, because my day is out and about with people a lot of the time. So I'm constantly on and out and with people, whether it be clients, taking them around to see properties or showing my own listings, or out with coffees, and lunches and all of that. But I'd say, to get started, what do you need first? I'd say you need to have a cushion. You need to have a financial cushion, because it's a
What's that
commission
look
driven
like? What do you,
business.
I mean, what does that mean? I mean, how much of a cushion?
Listen, it's all relative. It depends on the person. When I started many, many years ago, I probably had 6 to 8 months that I could, if I didn't go crazy, that I could, pay my rent, eat, have some
Hmm.
semblance of a life.
Hmm.
Um, and then the confidence that, and the hunger, I had no choice. Like, I
Hmm.
had to make this work. So when you only have 8 months cushion, and, my joke is I'm still waiting for the butler to come to take me to my real parents. So, I didn't grow up with, I don't have a huge trust fund behind me that I can fall on. So I had no choice but to be successful. Um,
I think we all felt that way. Like there was no like backup plan. We either made it or died, it felt like to me when I was
yeah.
starting off. You know what I mean? What else was I going to do? I didn't want to, go sell shoot. I mean, I was going to be an attorney. I mean, that was my goal. I was going to actually be an attorney, and then I kind of abandoned it to go into real estate. But other than
hmm
that, I mean, I don't know what I would have done.
It's funny. There are a lot of attorneys, a lot of brokers now were former attorneys, or at least went to law school. Some really great top notch brokers who I do a lot of business with, and they're excellent. So I think that being, every background can lead into real estate. You use all of your utilities, your tools, your skills. Um, I think being trustworthy. I think I've heard that 83%. I think that's the percentage. Trust is what they look for in a real
Mhm.
estate broker. So being trustworthy, obviously knowledgeable and personable, and listening,
Mhm.
because certainly where I am now, and we deal with all kinds of clients. Everyone thinks, oh, every deal we do is 10 million and above, or 20 million.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than running to someone on the street and they say, oh, come over and see my new apartment. It was 4 or 5 million, whatever it was, 2 million. And why didn't you call me? Oh, we didn't think you do that. We do it all. But
Yeah.
the sexy big stuff's what people talk about.
That which brings me to this, because like when I was thinking about this call this morning, I was going to Air One to get my perfect amino Gary Bracken's protein shake to actually get hyped up and ready for this call. And I was thinking about it, and I thought, what makes you different from, I think, the perception of a realtor is that you're viewed as the Goldman Sachs of real estate, the professional, the consultant. You're not the guy that's, with the signs on the side of his car saying, "Do you want to list or sell?" You're not out there like a car salesman. You are a true professional that people come to when they have expensive assets they want to sell or buy. And I wonder how you avoided the stereotype image of real estate to become this kind of Wall Street Manhattan broker that people really respect and look up to. Because I think people struggle with the image of being a real estate agent until they change that image in their own head first, so to speak.
yeah,
Do you know what I'm saying? And
100%. That was part of the reason it took me so long to go into real estate, because I didn't like the perception, and that image was important to me. I think once I decided and I got over it and I said, this is what you love and what you're passionate about, and you're good at it. And if you can be good at it, you'll make a lot of money and you'll do well. Um, Once I got over that, I was me. And, sometimes I actually think I'm very I do think, people call me for advice, and sometimes it has nothing to do with selling their property or not. They just want, I do a lot of valuations. People call me for their assets, and, I
Hmm.
get calls from trust and estates attorneys asking me whether it be a property I sold them or something else in the family's portfolio. And I give, valuations on their property for all different reasons. I make myself accessible to do all of that, and I do my homework and my research. And, listen, it's been 25 years, and I've been fortunate to build up a strong, good reputation, and super fortunate to have amazing clients who, have stuck with me and who we have a lot of repeat business and referrals from.
Yeah, so that's a big part of the business is you build a like a sphere of influence, and that
Hmm.
sphere of influence, they say you can tell a person's income by their database. Like the
Yeah.
database is a mirror into their almost net worth.
Right.
How did you build your database in such a competitive market like Manhattan, New York? Like how should we think about that?
So I'd say it was collecting people and sticking. I'm very good at staying in touch with people. And listen, my database is made up. I lived overseas for many years. So I lived in South Africa and Australia and Israel. And all those people are still in my database. They still get my emails all these years later, and I stay in touch with people. And I would say that my goal was that anytime anyone thought or talked about real estate, I wanted them to think of me or
Mhm,
mention me. Clearly, it's a big city. That doesn't happen. There's a lot of good brokers out there. But that was my goal and still is my goal. You cannot stop. You always have to be networking. You and I had talked about this summer challenge I did with my team,
mhm,
and where we said, we did a contest of you have to call this many people, you have to have this many in person coffees, lunches, get togethers with new people, and you have to pitch a certain amount of new business. I have
mhm,
to tell you, I did it. I didn't want to do it, but I went along with it. And I had the greatest summer, not just because we had a great summer and so much fun and traveled, but I pitched 12, 12 listings. I went on 12 pitches this summer, which is
mhm.
typically a slower time. Uh, and it's because I was so like, I jumped in and I was part of it. And even after all these years, I still have to rev up. And, when I find myself coasting, I have to remind myself, get back out there. You have to be focused, you have to be conscious, you have to be aware. Whatever you track and measure grows. And I could pull up and show you everyone that I met with, who I had coffees with, if we had a dinner party, who was there. And listen, it's authentic. It's not because I'm sitting there thinking, oh, everyone I'm talking to, it's because it's business. I'm just doing what I do, and I enjoy people. I'm out with them, and yes, of course, some of them are clients. I always say my friends become my clients, and my clients become my friends. And that's what I love about this business. It's very personable. I thought about, oh, I should go into commercial real estate, but I, you could say I'm nosy, but I like to be in people's like lives. I like to hear it. I want to understand the psychology. I love
Mm,
being with couples or whoever it
right.
is. They're buying their home. That's such a personal thing. Not always, but
Yeah.
a lot of times it is. So
It's interesting because, we have to motivate ourselves on a daily basis. And it's like, even when we're in moments of, just not despair, but like despondency, like maybe things aren't happening. And,
mhm.
we have to stay in process. We can't abandon the process just because, things are happening. And I think a lot of agents do that, Steve. I think they get discouraged, they abandon their process, and then it gets worse rather than staying in the process and then it gets better. So this idea of it's almost like tricking ourselves when you set up this little contest with your agents. It's a
Yep,
game, and it's kind of tricking yourself to get back into activities and make it fun again, and not just so focused on the results of making sales, but let's get into this thing and see what kind of activities we can hold each other accountable for. And
that's
by
right.
staying in that process like that, what happened? Did the success come, or was it? Tell us.
Came, not only did it come, but I said to my team when we kind of said who the winners were and that type of thing. I said to them, listen, I'm going to continue doing this. And yesterday I was putting in more names, and did the success come? Absolutely. We listed, which we never do, but it was a strong August. I put 4 new listings on in the middle of August because of
Mhm.
what I was doing in June and July. They were completely new, didn't have them before we started this contest.
Yeah.
And now we're putting even more on that, we pitched. So you're right. It's almost like I tricked myself.
Well, we do that because we have
Yeah.
to self motivate. We don't have a boss. We're the boss for everything, right?
Yeah.
We take
Yeah.
out the trash, and we also have to pay the
We do it
bills.
all.
So
Yeah.
we do it. We do it. We absolutely do it
Yeah.
all.
I say there's no pride. You
There's no
cannot
pride.
have no pride.
So
We do it all. And, the calls that I get sometimes.
that's right. So what? Let me ask you this: what are your pillars of business? Like, I think of pillars like some people work their sphere, some people, go to charities and events, or have events, or have dinners at their homes. Some people chase expired listings or for sale by owners. Some people, not you wouldn't door knock in New York, but you would certainly go to whoever's guarding the doors and make friends with them, right? The
Correct.
door,
Yeah.
the doorman. You
Yep.
become real familiar with them. So what are your pillars, or what is your team's pillars that you have everybody focusing on to find leads and generate leads?
All right. So I'd say number one on my team, and then I try to set it up that we all have very different spheres. Some of it overlaps, but a lot of it does not with my different agents. But sphere is the number one. Someone once said to me, and you said it earlier, Peter, about your network, your sphere, or your contact list, all the diamonds. This is what someone said to me: all the diamonds are right at my feet. Meaning, don't look, you don't have to look so far. You have a really strong contact list, just go in there. So it's definitely
Yeah.
my sphere. Um,
Well, but let's stop
yeah.
there for a sec, because
Mm.
how do you categorize your sphere? Do you have tags? I mean, do you use a CRM? Let's just start with how you organize your sphere first. How do you
Okay.
organize it?
So my sphere is, we have it broken down into categories, but not necessarily A, B, C. I don't do that. And I've tried over the years. For me personally, it hasn't worked.
Mhm.
But that's just me. I know other people and people on my team that they do it that way, and it totally works for them. Um, I think I, in essence, do it in my mind. I know my key 20 people who are major clients, major referral sources for me. And within my sphere, I know who those people are. I stay in touch with everyone. Something that we do every year, we send out, I mean, I think the number's now up to 500, a beautiful coffee table every year, a coffee table book, which
Mhm.
I know you've received. So everyone gets one
Yeah. Beautiful
every year.
books.
And every year we pick and I take a lot of time to pick an appropriate right one that's to, because I want it to really resonate. And then I'll go to a client's house. Literally, it happens time and time and time again. And I'll see like all 5 of 6 of the books from the last 6 years on their bookshelves or stacked on their coffee table, and it's got a personal note written in it. I only say
Yeah.
that because that's my broad way of staying in touch with the
Yeah.
most important people. But then the calling, staying in touch, a lot of who I work and sell with, we're social with, and that's through boards of charities that we're involved with. It's our kids' schools. There is so much overlap. And again, I love that because I'm working with my friends. I get to
Mhm.
run around and spend the day with really close friends and looking at homes with them, which I love doing, and giving them ideas. And for me, it all overlaps, and there couldn't be anything better for me to do.
Well, you say you don't do A, B, C, D, and I know a lot of people do. Like maybe A are the people that are ready right now, B's are getting ready,
Hmm.
and however
Yeah.
people think of that. But other people might organize their database by maybe past clients, current leads, family and friends. Do you do any of that type of classification within your CRM?
So yes, I do. There's family and friends, there's sphere, and then I break down the sphere of when I set my business goals, or goals for the year. A lot of it's just visualization. I'm very into visualization. Anything I've gotten in my life, it's because I was able to verbalize it and visualize it. Um, And, I built my life. I look at what I have, married, 2 kids, where I live, the travel, who we interact with. That was my vision. That was my goal. I built the life that I wanted. With that said, I do break it down, and I'm go back to the business plan. I will actually say, I want to get 3 deals from this sphere. This sphere could be, I grew up outside of Philadelphia, so my contacts in Philadelphia, and that type of thing. Um, but I said I don't track it. That's not fair. We have Meredith on my team, who's like our transaction coordinator, our chief operating officer. She holds it all together. She's the glue. We have what's called our ABS, and it lists everything where every deal is, but also has a
Mhm.
whole list of who we've pitched, what's pending, who is on the back burner. So there
Mhm.
is some measuring and tracking of it. It's not just all out there in my head. There's a lot in front of me that we keep
Yeah.
track of.
Well, you mentioned a word that I just got to dive into, and I think we could go further into this whole sphere thing, but obviously, database, your sphere is where the money is. You said it's where the diamonds are.
Mhm.
We can't emphasize that enough, everybody. This is just where the money is. And to the extent that you're into your database and you're focused on it and working on it and staying in contact, whether it's providing coffee table books, reaching out with phone calls, inviting different combinations of your database to dinners, whatever it is, it's so important. Before I go to that next thought, is there anything else you want to add to the whole database conversation? Because we can't emphasize this enough how important it is. That's the money.
Yeah, there's no question. Staying in touch. And again, I genuinely like calling people and staying in touch with people or meeting with them. So it's just staying in touch. These are your people. If your people
Community.
aren't going to work with you, your community, and not everyone does, and
Yeah.
that's okay too. But these are your people, and that's the place to start. And for me, where to spend the most time and emphasize the most. I'll just, the coffee table book. That's also a reflection of who I am. I love coffee table books. There's too many of them in our homes, um, but these are books that I love and really, like, they bring me joy when I see them. So I'm giving someone something that I personally own and that I love. So it's just even more of an expression of myself. It's not just I'm just sending a book.
Are you a big investor in real estate yourself? Do you invest in real estate?
We do. I'd like to do even more, but yes, we do own real estate.
Hmm.
Yes,
Fantastic, fantastic.
yes,
So you
and
said
it
you
has
said
been fantastic. Yeah,
do you have more than one home?
yes,
Where are they?
we have uh, a couple of properties in the Hamptons, which they
Where I've
became
got to
invest.
come visit you because I've never in my life been to the Hamptons. I don't know
And
what my
I
problem
think that's
is.
so funny to hear you say that of all people.
And I just see all these TV shows and movies and all of our company meetings and all this different stuff, and I can't even believe it. But I have
Yeah, I
never been
can't
to the
believe you've
Hamptons.
never come.
No, and
All
I
right, next
surf, and
next
there's good
summer.
surf there too. And
Amazing. My oldest daughter
yeah,
surfs. Montauk has great surfing.
I know it. I know
Um,
it.
so that started as just a second home, and then acquired some other things came up, and those are investments. Um, and in some investment properties in California. Kirk, my
Mhm.
husband's from California. And then we have a place in Palm Beach, which came
Wow.
to us, and then some other properties that
All prime
we have.
locations, all prime, prime,
Yeah,
prime.
yeah,
Beautiful, beautiful.
yeah.
All right, vision. I'm a big believer in
Uh,
vision. I'm a big believer in vision statements. I do vision boards. I know people might think those are silly, but I love mapping out on a board, like,
mhm.
my dreams and desires. Talk to me about vision. And you said you are a big vision guy.
Yeah. Well, I said anything that I have in my life, it's because I could visualize. And well, I'll give an example.
I mean, did you envision that you would own this many homes? Let's just start there.
Um, yeah, my vision is actually a lot greater than where I am.
So
Um,
that's cool. I like that. So there's more to
what
come.
did what did Tom Ferry say to me? Dissatisfaction is a symptom of ambition. That's what he said to me once.
I
Said a
love it.
lot of things to me, but that was one of them.
Yeah, I
Um,
love that one.
yeah. So yeah, I keep this vision. What I've learned to do, thank God, is that worked for me for a while, and clearly coming from where I came from, that had to work for me, this drive and this, but it's to learn to also appreciate where I am and be really happy in the moment and be able to look at where I've come from and where I've arrived without also losing, I said my vision's bigger than where I am, with keeping that because I want to keep going. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not just about the money. It's I enjoy it. Investments, I find it fascinating and interesting. And yes, the more money I make, the finer life we can live. It's not about having more things necessarily, but it's the more charity we can give, which is so important to me. Um, and but I enjoy beautiful things and beautiful homes, and that takes money.
Yeah,
Not always. It doesn't have to, but I like nice things.
I know.
But the
Yeah, yeah,
vision,
I think it's
yeah,
yeah. Keep
the
going.
vision. I think it is just so important. I'm sure you do this. If I can write it
Well,
down.
a big part of my vision
Yeah,
is, and I don't know about you, but a big part of my
yeah,
vision is not just material success, but some sort of balance and lifestyle success. Do you include that in your vision as well?
1000%. Like my
Well,
whole
talk
life
about
over.
that. Talk
Okay,
about
my
that,
whole
because
life
I think people.
overlaps. Yeah,
I know so many agents in your position right now, and they're just pulling their hair out. They're frantic. They're running. They can't even like sit still for a second. And even though they're doing really, really well and making lots of money and own lots of stuff, that is that success?
no, if they're listen, some of that could be their happiness and what turns them on.
True.
I can be really, really intense, but then I like quiet alone time also, um,
Mhm.
just to unwind and sometimes not do anything. But we love to travel. Like I said, we're involved in a number of charities, giving away and being able to give away. That was part of my vision. Um, we have some friends where, what I'm giving, I'm the pauper, but that's okay. They inspire me, and um, I want to be like them when I grow up. But I think balance. Well, there was someone just said this to me this morning. There was a Wall Street Journal article the other day. This life balance idea, there's no such thing because
All
it's
right.
right. There's a time and place for different things. You can't be
Yeah.
balanced all the time.
Right.
If you're training, for a triathlon, you got to be intense before the
That's right.
before the triathlon.
That's
Um,
right.
but I think doing all these things and having consistency, that's the word. I think
Yes.
consistency is more important than balance. And that is something I had to learn. Kirk, who my
Mm.
husband, who's brilliant and smart and so focused, he is the most consistent person. We're very different that way. But I've learned over the years, like I've learned to,
Well, wait.
yeah,
Dive in a little bit. Like, explain how. Where is he consistent? What does he do that makes you think of him as? You're probably thinking discipline. He's probably a super
he's
disciplined human being.
very disciplined, super disciplined.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. He's super disciplined. And for a long time, well, I'm in sales and I'm good with people, so I don't need, it's you can be both. And
Yeah.
the older I get and the discipline, even when I don't like I don't love working out, but I go 3 days a week to my trainer every morning, 6 a.m. I'm trying to get him to meet me at 5:30, which would be better for me. But I go because I know A, it makes me feel good. B, I know it's good for me. It clears my head, all of those things. And
Mm.
hopefully makes me look good. Who doesn't want to look good, right? So,
Yeah, we all do.
right.
A
So,
little bit of vanity here.
yes, no question. All these like things, earning money and vanity, like they think they're such taboo bad words. They're not. They're just
Well, I
things
think.
you
Well,
know.
I think when you're at the top of your game, like you are right now, and you're practicing real estate, in a very very glamorous city called New York, you are viewed as a representative of that lifestyle, and you're viewed as the entree, the doorway to that lifestyle. So you can't come in slovenly, poorly dressed, out of shape, unhappy, or you're not going to attract anyone to do business with you. It's not going to happen.
All right. Yeah.
I don't
Although
think.
there are
Unless
some
you're really,
brokers I
really
won't.
smart. I mean, well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
exceptions to every rule, but
There's
why make it
exceptions.
harder for
Right.
yourself?
Right. Correct. Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. Why make it harder? Um, yes, so I wear pocket squares all the time, and I remember years ago I was pitching something. Part of that is because I don't wear ties anymore, but I was
Mhm.
pitching something, and the woman kept looking at my suit, and I thought, "Is something wrong?" And then
Yeah.
afterwards, she said, "You don't know about
Did I
this about
spill
me,
my
but I'm."
lunch on it? What did
I totally. I kept like I
Is
was
there
going on,
spaghetti
and
sauce on me?
she kept I was talking, it was a brother sister selling their mothers. It was an estate sale.
Yeah.
So I was like talking to both of them, but every time I turned to look at her, I saw, and afterwards she said, "Oh, I'm in fashion. I love your pocket square, and that suit fits you beautifully." And I said to her, "Oh my God, I didn't know why you were looking."
Wow.
So yeah, you know, it's all the full package, but it can be fun and lovely and part of who
Yeah.
you are. It doesn't mean, listen, I'm
Right.
wearing jeans, a sport jacket, and some nice shoes right now. So
Right. That's
it's
perfect.
because that's who I am, what I'm comfortable in. There's a time and place for that. There's a time and place for a suit.
Hmm.
Um,
Although that
I
seems to be
think,
fading. Less
true.
suits at all levels of business now. It's kind of
Can you,
wild when you look at it.
what about
Yeah.
sneaks? 20 years ago that we'd all be wearing sneakers? That's like
Right.
incredible.
Right.
I
But
love it.
they're nice now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so
And
it's kind of like
expensive.
interesting. So what happened? So you're a new agent in New York. You're working. What was the turning point for you? When did it just all of a sudden you just broke in and there you are? How did it happen? Was it over time? Was it a deal? What actually happened?
So I would say it was different levels. I was always, I'd say in the beginning, I was always successful, but I was like in the middle or top of
Mhm.
middle. I would call myself top of middle. And then I got to bottom of top. Um, and then there were a few significant deals that I did, one in particular that was, it's probably the deal I'm most proud of. But that really just gave me the confidence and took me to a new level.
Mhm.
Um, and I'd say I always knew, I felt like I could always do more, and I still
Mhm.
do. You know, I'm at a phase right now where I'm like, okay, what's the next level, and what do I want it to look like, and how am I going to get there?
Mhm.
Um, you know, Tom, I'll quote Tom Ferry again. When he and I first met the very first time, now I'm really dating myself. We had lunch at Barney's, at Fred's
Mm.
at Barney's, which is no longer, and we miss a
Yeah.
lot. Um,
Yeah. I remember.
and Tom said to me, his big thing back then was, this many years ago, "Are you interested or committed?" And he
Mm.
and I got it because I'd set these goals, but then I'd make a certain, I was single then, I'd make a certain amount of money and I'd be like, okay, this is okay. And then I'd kind of cool it rather than, no, this is my goal and I'm really committed to hitting that goal. And I think that is also a subtle but really important shift,
Yeah.
interested or committed. And when you're committed to something, then you don't stop, you keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I remember that happened to me as well. It was so clear that moment that it's just like a light switch
What
where all of
was
a
it?
sudden now it was like getting up at and getting to work by 8 or 9 was just not even like in the cards anymore. It was like you said, up at 5. You're already at work 7.
Mm,
8 o'clock. You're well into the day.
mhm.
Every morning, well into the day. And I don't think people understand that intensity that is required with our business. You know what I mean? They don't understand the level of commitment versus interest that is required to be successful. And nobody
Right.
displays that better than Tom Ferry. I don't know anybody that works harder than him. I don't,
That's so
what he
true.
does on a daily basis and the
Yep.
travel and his lifestyle and the preparation he does for his I mean, there's an example if you want to follow somebody that is truly committed to what he's doing. I think that, real estate is a business where we have this incredible opportunity and there's no ceiling, right? There's just no ceiling. And ceilings have been broken. People are selling real estate not just in cities anymore, but they're going to different states, different counties, building teams within teams. I mean,
Yep.
there's so many ways to go, and not, there's no one size fits all. But the point being made is that it's kind of like whatever you want to create, whatever you want to do. As you look from now, next 10 years, and 10 years from now, looking back, what has changed from now till then, in your opinion, for your business?
For me, I would say continue doing what we're doing, but more intense and leaner and meaner. And more intense doesn't mean necessarily that I'm working harder or more. It might be working more. It's not harder.
Mm,
A year ago, I looked at my whole business. I'm still in the process of doing it financially to see like where is this going and does it make sense where I'm spending on certain things. Um, I think you have to keep evaluating. It's funny when the money's flowing, you tend to be looser, and
mhm,
corporations do this all the time, and then they hit hard times and they start pulling back and seeing where did we build some fat that we can shave off.
mhm,
For me, it's just to continue to get to the next level.
mhm,
Um, and when there are certain level of in certain neighborhoods in New York City, when there is a certain um, listing coming up, say, or a certain buyer, that I want to be one of the 5 or 7 brokers that are automatically on that list.
mm.
That means outside of my sphere, so that's more well known, even in New York
Yeah,
City.
yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
How do you want to be remembered?
Mm, there's no question. Someone that, wow, someone that brought out the greatest of someone else, whoever I interacted with, that they left feeling heard, seen, loved, appreciated, and that truly that by interacting with me that I brought something out of them and that they remembered that I cared and maybe help them to go some to the next level of something.
I love that. I love that. And I guess just lastly, maybe we talk about the market a little bit. What do you see next quarter in the market? How do you see it? Do you think it's going to get stronger? Do you think rates are going to
Uh,
drop? What's your prediction?
uh, I think rates may drop, but right now, based on how it feels in the market and what August felt like, I think we're going to have a very strong fall and into December.
Mhm.
We have some political things going on in the city. Who knows how that will shake out or how it will affect? But I truly believe this. Listen, it could affect in the short term, and I'm not saying it depends on who and what, but New York City, and I said this during COVID, and I said it and then like thought, oof. Um, New York City is a vortex. There are certain cities and places in the world. Berlin is like this. It always reinvents itself, and New York City's been through some bad times. I'm just going to curse, but
Mhm. Mhm.
anyway, some down times and some rough times. But it always seems to come back and come back bigger and stronger. And God, if you look at after COVID, when people were predicting the city was going to fall,
Mhm. Yeah, they were sure wrong, weren't they?
they were wrong. And we're going through
And
some
I
stuff
hear
right
people,
now.
I hear people are coming back to New York like
They are,
crazy. And
yeah. And look at the
and I
numbers
yeah,
of
and
what's being sold.
yeah. And we're seeing the same thing in California. There was this big exodus, and now all the people that left want back.
Yeah,
And guess what? They're shocked by the prices.
right.
But I sold my
Isn't that
house for
amazing?
this, and now I got to pay this much more for the same house. Yeah,
Yep.
you do, because
Yeah.
this is New York, this is California, and people forget like these cities aren't going, states aren't going away. These are iconic world centers.
That's
It's like
right.
a London,
Yes. That's
New
right.
York,
Yeah.
Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And I think people are so short-sighted. And you're right. There's going to be political swings from right to left, right to left. It's
Yeah.
gone on forever and ever and ever and ever, and it'll continue to.
Yeah.
And
I'll share
and that's
something
yeah.
really fast. I think so. During COVID, we're on the board of the it's the Marlene Meyerson, who's named after our friend's mother,
Mhm,
JCC, the Jewish Community Center, which is a big hub on the Upper West
mhm,
Side. It's a huge building and lots goes on there. Besides a pool and gym and all that, there's all kind of lectures and everything goes on in that building. And so we've been on the board for like 14 years, and we did a during COVID, we did our board meetings over Zoom, and the president at the time said, Steven, there's some real major players on this board. And she said to me, we're just going to do like a kind of different industries of people on our board, because it's diverse and tapped in some real heavy hitters. But she said, but I want you'll talk about residential real estate. And I got
Mhm.
on and I said, guys, it's New York City. We're going to come back. Like, yeah, it's, you're all in the Hamptons now, or wherever you are, it's going to come back. And then a number of people, including some finance people, got on, who I love and respect, and said basically, get out. It's never come, the world is doomed. I remember thinking, oh my God, was I so Pollyannish? Like, did I sound like a
No,
fool? And in the
no,
end, it
they
was
sounded
true.
like fools. They were the fools.
They also made a fortune, so they're
Yeah,
okay.
probably
So
taking that position. 100%
yeah,
right. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, for
um,
sure.
yeah. So, but I remember that's just I tell that story just because it was my gut. These guys are so much smarter than me in so many areas, and but we work together with our clients also. But and caring, great people. But I went with truly what I believed in my gut, and I had confidence in it. And that goes back to who am I to my clients? Yes, we have clients that are so much, I don't want to say more successful, certainly very successful in their fields, and maybe have a lot more net worth than I do, but they've hired me to be me and advise them on what I know best. And that's what
Right.
they want. And that's really important to remember.
Well, Stephen, thank you so much for being on the Core Truth. This has been a great conversation. I'm just sorry that I got to run to a meeting because I would just keep going. But it's really fun to have you, and it's always
It's
great to
been
see
great.
you. And I hope I see you at Endeavor. Are you going to Endeavor? I hope so, because
I'm
I'm going to
going
go.
to Endeavor, and I'm going
I'll
to
see
see you
you
in the
there,
Hamptons. So,
and I'm going to see you in the Hamptons one of these
yeah,
days. I got to get it on
there
the
you go.
travel list.
All right.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks you all for being on the Core Truth. It's been a lot of fun. Stephen Cohen from New York.